I don't have the luxury of central locking. The only luxury I have, apart from the electric step, is I can lock them from the inside quite easily. Anyway, we are here. We could possibly not be on the most direct point between France and Germany as where we are today. We are literally on the border. Literally beyond those trees is the German border, and beyond Saarbrücken. And then this way, France. The Strasbourg area. I'd like to be a little bit more. But a long way, probably 25 kilometres that way. All the towns are very German sounding. So we are in a place called Spicheren. And there's a restaurant up there. This is a memorial to the fallen Americans of World War II, the Trailblazers, but it's a lot more historical than that. So obviously the conflicts between this area, between the French and the Germans, goes back centuries. And this memorial is to the French that served here in 1870. But that's not why we're here. That will become more apparent as we... This is a park for night, but it's not one I'm going to utilise. There's a football club there that also is a park for night, and I might utilise that, being we are Easter, coming up to Easter weekend. Some donkeys up there. Easter weekend, so there's probably not going to be a lot of football going on. But anyway, we are here, Spicheren, on the Saarbrücken border, on the German-French border, literally bang on it. Okay. Okay, so this is a memorial to the German fell, and right opposite is a memorial to the French. And this is the 1870. Fusiliers. There's loads of monuments here for that war, which is before, I'd like to say it's Napoleonic. It probably is, you know. I'll have to look at that while I'm walking. But what I've come to show you is literally just a stone's throw that way, but I'm looking for what they used to call the West Wall, or as the English called it, the Siegfried Line, which was the defence between France and Germany that the Germans reinforced in the Second World War. So we'll have a look at that, because that'll be interesting, especially if you like dragons. Lots and lots of memorials, but I really haven't got time to tell you what they are. That's another 1871. Yeah, it's all to the individual generals, I think. But we shall see. See what it's got to offer. Hopefully a lot. And that's Saarbrücken in the distance. Well, it looks like I'm going to get my trainers dirty in a bit. It's just dawned on me, we're in the area that so if you cast your mind back to the two churches I mentioned that were red brick, so the big cathedral at Strasbourg and the church at Fosbach, well, the red sandstone is quarried from this area. So we're in the Vosges region, or the Vosges region. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but I'll put a link up to. But that's where all these, so you can see it. Look, all the sandstone is red, and even the earth around it. So we're in that area, and I'll clip it up if you're interested. I am. I'm not looking forward to the journey up, although I might be able to do a big loop. Okay, nowhere there yet. I've got 2 kilometres to walk. Blimey. Bear prints. I've actually found some sooner than that Google Maps has shown me. Just spotted. So this is a rampart, which is part of the defence. Oh, blimey. And here we have an example of the Siegfried Line Dragon's Teeth, or anti-tank line. That's what I've scrambled all this way to see. To you, that might be an anticlimax, but for me, that is. And all they are is precast. I don't think they were cast in situ. Reinforced concrete triangles. And there's some big ones there. And these were built to keep the French out. Actually, the Nationalist Socialist Party built these from 1933 onwards as part of the defence of Germany under the stewardship of our friend. Well, he's not our friend at all, is he? No, he's a tyrant. Adolf. And this just typifies how mental he was, a bit like me going the wrong way. He built this wall to stop people coming in. And actually, he went through it twice. So he went through it in 1940 to defeat the French in the French invasion and pushing our troops back to Dunkirk and all that. So he had to come this way. He didn't go round it. I think he must have pushed it out of the way. And then he did it again on his autumn offensives. So the Bulge, Colmar Pocket, Battle for... he went on the offensive in the wrong time of the year. Christmas, where his tanks relied on roads. He couldn't, like he did in 1940, go cross country because it was the middle of winter. So there's 2 things happened there. He did it at the wrong time of the year. 2, I think he underestimated the strength of the Allies and the amount they had, and I think his columns weren't big enough to get to Antwerp anyway. But he broke through, and then, you know, things happened, ran out of fuel, ran out of supplies. And by March, April, the tide had turned and the Advance had gotten past the Siegfried Line and well into Germany then. But here we are, somewhere I've always wanted to come, strangely. And they're quite crude. It's just a reinforced concrete wall, about a metre high, with these dragon's teeth. And I would say that's probably about 12 metres in depth and goes all the way from Switzerland, all the way, follows basically the Rhine, all the way to the Netherlands. And only really splits in the Ardennes because the forest is a natural defence. So I'm getting close here somewhere to actually where I should have been. So here we go. Okay. We found what we're looking for. More concrete, I'm afraid. I'm absolutely beat. Whew. Now these aren't bunkers, these are dwellings built much later. My voice is gone. Much later. But basically on top of the Siegfried Line. And I'm not convinced that some of these aren't original. Built later than 33. And then obviously cladded and turned into dwellings by the West Germans. France did a lot of this kind of thing on the Atlantic Wall. So if you go snooping about the Atlantic Wall in France, in Brest, all along that Atlantic coast, a lot of the old defences are now dwellings. Obviously, you know, a bunker is quite an ugly dwelling, so a lot of them have been recladded or in some cases knocked down and rebuilt, but using the foundations. Oh, but it's lovely. I'd live here. And as you can see, they've got a marvellous view of the French. Now these are definitely 1930s. Okay, well I'm going to turn round and go back because I don't want to get lost. Travenau. Mattishof. There's Carlsberg. Looks like a bit of a nursery. I'll give it a miss. I'm on the long walk home. And I only know I'm going in the right direction because I'm following the signs for the llamas. Because I didn't see this on the way. That's an early version of what I got. A 608D, so pretty big, 6-tonner. 80 horsepower. Barn find. Bless it. I think they call them didos, did they? But I mean, look at it. It's held up. There's no rot in it. These are plastic. Oh no, they're not. Aye. Waiting for a rescue. There you go. And we're in no man's land now. So the Siegfried Line runs through there and there's a river. And then the Maginot Line. Now, I'm not sure where that is, but it's over there somewhere. And then this bit would have been in the bit in the middle where the all the friendly stuff happened. I must get a picture of that actually for the group. But what a lovely evening. I don't know where I'm going to park tonight. Part of me wants to stay where I am, but part of me wants to probably come further into Saarbrücken. So I'm finally where I said I was going to be. It's nearly 6 o'clock. Anyway, this is what we're here to see. This is an M4 Chaffee, light to medium tank. These were introduced in the latter part of the Second World War, Battle of the Bulge. Big 75mm gun, 5-man crew, fast, nimble, and were the predecessor to, or the replacement of, the Grant, which was a much older tank. The Chaffee, fast, powered by 2 V8 Chevy engines, giving the top speed of around 38 miles an hour. So nearly 60 kilometres an hour. That's shifting. 5-man crew. 75mm gun. 30 caliber machine guns there. And on the turret. And then you had a bigger 50 cal gun on the top, which was demountable. 5-man crew in there, unreal. Torsion suspension. I have swatted up on this tank, as you could probably guess, but it's pretty impressive to have twin Chevy engines in it, V8s as well, obviously bolted together. Yes, so these saw action in the latter part of the Second World War, and then they went right through to the 70s. So, you know, I think the French used them. So there you have it. That's what we really came all this way to see. And it was dedicated to the commune of Spicheren by the 70th Infantry Division. You know, it's not really thick armour. What's that? 35 mil? But it's sloping. And I can't see any battle damage. Whether this was used in this theatre or not, it was presented in 1997, so I'm probably saying it probably wasn't from the war, this war anyway. Great. And then I've got just another thing to show you, but that'll be in another video. So we'll do that. Oh, look out. He's having a gnaw on his hoof. We've got 2 Shetlands and 2 donkeys. And there's the red van down there. There's a restaurant over there. That's France. That's Germany. Siegfried Line in the middle there somewhere. And I really wish I hadn't walked it. My legs are going to kill tomorrow. Okay. We're still here. Beautiful evening. Going to be a wicked sunset up here. Anyway, let me introduce you to Wotan. Now this is a German fortification, part of the fortifications built after the invasion of France in 1940. So they built these from 1940 and they were complete by 1942, which is unbelievable. There's 82 of these, or there was 82 of these, situated from the Siegfried Line to the Maginot Line. And they were all complete by 1943. That doesn't include all the others on the west coast, you know. This is a casemate 537. Completed, well, it doesn't really say when it was completed, but it was, they started building these in 1940. So it's reinforced concrete, 2 meters thick. And then it would have been armed with a pretty hefty machine gun. And then they were originally armed with PaK 36 anti-aircraft guns. And then later on they were up to the PaK 40. And these held. So when the US were in the area trying to secure, these were actually used. There's obvious battle damage. And although the Germans were heavily outnumbered, these fortifications took a lot of casualties on the American side before they were actually overrun. And there's a whole area full. Now actually when I drove in, I actually cheated and tried to drive up a track which would have brought me out here. And you'll see on a clip where the only reason I can't get to here is that fallen tree down the bottom there. Now I'd have probably been told off because this area now forms part of a local football club. So this bunker would have been part of a whole system. And I can't really see around the back, but I dare say it was extended. And when I drove through, I could see lots and lots of buried casemates similar to this. Obviously not as prominent as this. but you can see how thick that is. And there's actually raised areas here, and there's actually another entrance there into probably, so there's probably other bunkers in there as part of this this whole system. I dare say whether that is, no, it is original. Well, some of this might have been, anyway, it's extraordinary. And to see it's had action. So there would have been, your pack gun would have been in here. These would have had doors on, then they rolled the gun out and it could have shot across, and you got a pretty good angle of fire out of here, and that would have had a machine gun. You know, they're pretty impregnable, really. Some kind of ventilation thing, and it did come with a ladder. But there's a whole system in there, and I don't know whether I'm going to walk it just to... I'm getting pretty hungry though. But it's all open to the public on special occasions, apparently. And it's had a dodgy paint job. But pretty cool. And it's called Wotan, which I believe is German for some kind of... Hang on, let me educate you. It's on there somewhere. But pretty impressive, really, isn't it? And to see it without battle damage. But that made her ears ring. Brilliant. Right. I'll find out what Wotan is. Good evening. Bit stealth camping. So I've just had a lovely evening meal. It's a full moon. Beautiful evening. Just got the sunset from where I left the restaurant. I think I'm back in France, although the couple that I just spoke to were German. It's very confusing. But we're here. This is on Park for Night. This is a cemetery for the church, but it's not near the church. We're a good 100 metres away from the church, but it's definitely a cemetery. Yes, I just had soup de jour, which I don't know what it was. They didn't tell me, but it was very nice. I had tater le boeuf, which is raw mince to me and you, frites, and for dessert I had creme brulee, which was lovely. Creme brulee and an espresso. That is a good view. I even put my best clobber on. So I put a shirt on and hang on, put my blimey. I put my best boots on. I thought it was a lot posher than it actually was. But I was accepted, and I don't know if the waiter was German, French or Irish, to be fair, but we got there. I Google translated what I wanted, but I knew what I wanted. I just couldn't. We got a bit lost on beer. I knew what beer I wanted, and eventually got it. Anyway, we're here. A beautiful evening. And we're in Spicheren. So we're still on the high ground. Germany's that way, France is that way, and we are basically more or less slap bang in the border. Anyway, that's enough from me. We went off-roading today, and I'd have got to where I wanted to get if it weren't for a fallen tree. Well, I say it was off-roading, it was down a track. And I had to reverse a good 500 metres to get out. Okay, that's us. Good night from Spicheren.